right, it's like in the ancient world, the king is always the top dog, right? Whereas that's not the story that the Bible presents to us, right? The story that the Bible presents to us is that in Israel, what God wants is the king to be submissive to the will of Yahweh, right? The will and the word of Yahweh. That's like the ideal, right? Um, uh, and right, God continually provides prophets to call the king into account, particularly if the king like starts to get too big an estimation of his own power. Um, yeah, so especially, now in the 21st century, looking back, we might say, well, the Bible seems really wise in this, right? Of like, right, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Um, right? Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
ways to be gained from this idea of, well, someone who's a civil leader, especially who has the more absolute their power is, right, the more they should consider themselves being accountable to a divine moral authority, right? And all I'm saying is that there's lots of, right, in what you've just brought out, Steve. There's lots of like embedded anthropology about just the nature of civil law and authority and power. Um, that yeah, like lessons that are um, they're kind of under the surface of the Old Testament story, but are very, very powerfully there. Particularly in contrasted with other works of literature from the same time period.